Part 15. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 141. Qin Yanxi lifted up the quilt and got out of bed and walked into the bathroom. He saw that the tooth cup was filled with water and the toothpaste was filled. These toiletries were prepared for him, and the plastic packaging on them was not removed when they were brought back last night. She actually tore it down. When he thought of her using her white little hands to collect water and squeeze out toothpaste for him, his heart was filled to the brim with her. It turns out that having a daughter-in-law can not only make you happy, but also provide you with care in life. No wonder that guy hit it so hard. Fortunately, God has eyes. Let them meet. Qin Yanxi walked to the restaurant after washing up. There is a stack of egg pancakes on the table, which has a rich aroma. Golden color, paired with green onions and black sesame seeds, just looking at it makes you appetizing. Sci. Ying Sisi was confused, she didn't call her daughter-in-law anymore. What's wrong? Why don't you let me use old toiletries? Ying Sisi became angry, so she asked him to bring the old one, and he said he wanted to use the new one. Good. Listen to him and give him a new one, but he says she won't let him use the old one. How about playing monkey? That's not true. There's so much talking while eating. Qin Yanxi. Ying Sisi felt that she was a little too fierce, so she smiled lightly and said softly, I was worried that you would be late and raised your voice. In fact, I am very gentle. There is also soy milk here. She put the soy milk in front of him. Qin Yanxi couldn't help but laugh. His face changed so quickly, but it was very cute. Ying Sisi smiled when she saw him smiling. Pull up a chair and sit down to have breakfast. After dinner, Qin Yanxi took his admission ticket and waited to go out. Ying Sisi pulled him and stood on tiptoe to peck the side of his face. Come on. The warmth on the woman's lips makes one's cheeks feel hot. His eyes were smiling as he touched the place where he had been kissed. I will definitely try my best. If you fail to pass the exam, you can only blame the guy for neglecting his studies after getting married and having with his little wife. He felt very uncomfortable thinking about the other person sleeping in the same bed with her for half a month. Sci, can you pick me up at the examination room at noon? Ying Sisi is going crazy, what's going on with him? It was obvious that he didn't want her to come to him before, but now he took the initiative to ask for it. I'm so confused, can I pass the exam? But since he mentioned it, she agreed and it wouldn't be a problem. Okay, where are you competing? Qin Yanxi, number 1 middle school, the first game ends at 11:30. Okay, Ying Sisi agreed. After people left, she cleared the table and cleaned the room. After tidying up the room, she walked to the nest where the guinea eggs were placed. Hand out your hand to touch the eggshell. So small, how small the hatched bird must be. Is it easy to make a living? Alumni. There was a knock on the door. Who? It's me. Is Song Hanmi's voice. Ying Sisi opened the door with a downcast face. Why are you here? Song Hanmi said in a good voice, didn't I get sick earlier? I took a long leave. I have to take off my leave to go to work tomorrow. I want you to take care of Yue. Ying Sisi, don't she have Feng Shuangzi? That gangster. I will never allow him to step into the house again. Sisi, I know there is some unpleasantness between us, but since you came to Beijing, I have not lacked you to eat or drink, you see? In terms of past friendship, please do me a favor, I beg you. Song Hanmi said sincerely. Ying Sisi was unmoved. First of all, Li Junlu was her father. She eats his food and drinks his food, as a matter of course. Secondly, Song Hanmi designed the Huniu incident and the drugging incident. Nothing can be forgiven. She said bluntly, it's useless to beg me. If you want me to go back, let dad come. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 142. Song Hanmi's face suddenly turned ugly. You treated me like this because I entertained you with delicious food and drinks? If I had known you were so unkind, I shouldn't have allowed you to come in the first place. You can't make sense, you're just being a hooligan, right? Why did you agree? You know your intentions better than anyone else. Ying Sisi understood her own value. She had reached the age of getting married in exchange for dowry gifts. Song Hanmi had never paid anything to her, but she could get a big deal for nothing, and she was already crazy with joy. Especially when she married Qin Yanci. Li Junlu not only received a betrothal gift, but was also promoted. She doesn't owe them anything. Only they owe her. What ideas can I make? Song Hanmi obviously lacked confidence. I have good intentions. Haha. Ying Sisi laughed and said, don't put too much pressure on yourself. I have figured out your way a long time ago. Don't even think about asking my parents-in-law for comment. Be careful that I poke your holes. At that time it's you and dad who can't get off the stage. Song Hanmi could no longer say anything to refute, so she cursed a few words and left angrily. Ying Sisi closed the door and cursed others when she couldn't take advantage. No wonder she couldn't teach Li Yue well. Oops. It's so annoying. The whole good mood is ruined. She turned on the TV to lighten her mood. At 10:30, we will set off to pick up Qin Yan's speech. It was already 11:20 when the bus arrived at the station, and there were still 10 minutes left before the end. She hurriedly ran to the school gate. From a distance, you can see Qin Yanci standing on the side of the road. Long body and graceful appearance. There is a new bicycle leaning against the wall behind him. Waiting for her? Ying Sisi rushed forward. ACI, isn't it over yet? Come out early. Ying Sisi was shocked. In other words, you handed in the paper in advance. You didn't even check it after you finished it. Is it too conceited? Qin Yanci smiled and said, after checking, the teacher marked the papers on the spot. I got full marks and successfully entered the second round. Ying Sisi's joy showed on her face, and she said with a smile, you are so awesome. Let's go, I'll treat you to a big dinner. What kind of feast? I won't eat it if you didn't cook it with your own hands. Then you want to wait. I didn't buy groceries today. How about we eat out and then watch a movie and go home? Ying Sisi suggested. Qin Yanci, what's so good about the movie? It's better to watch her. Let's fish, it's quiet and can kill time. Ying Sisi frowned, almost invisible. Didn't he love watching movies the most? Amnesia. Sci, what are you thinking about? Ying Sisi came back to her senses. Okay, I have fishing gear at home, let's go there. She was about to test whether he really didn't remember things. I'll take you to a hidden place, there are a lot of fish there, keep what you caught. Happy. Qin Yanci smiled with a smile on his face. Change the topic forcefully. Have you noticed something about him and tested him? That's not possible. Don't be scared to run away after knowing the truth. Ask him to guess the secret place. It is spring now and the ice and snow are melting. He loved fishing when he was young, and there must be someone by the river in the city right now. It cannot be considered concealed. Hideaway places can only be far away from the city. She keeps talking in front of him, how can she hide things? She and that guy must have been there. Thinking of this, he deliberately said vaguely, is it the suburbs? It's too far. Ying Sisi was surprised and opened her eyes slightly. Turns out he remembered. It seems that he just has a non-specific preference. She gave up her doubts and smiled, yes. Qin Yanci raised the corners of his mouth slightly, then let's go. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 143. The two went back to the courtyard, picked up their tools, and wandered into the woods. Because it rained a while ago. The place marked by Ying Sisi has been washed away by rain, so you can only explore with caution. Qin Yan looked around without leaving a trace. The trees outside were bare, but they were extremely lush inside. The bottom of the tree is covered with moss and the humidity inside is very high. The mud on the ground is loose and soft. Stepping on them leaves deep footprints. From deep in the depths, strange screams can be heard from time to time. At first glance, it is terrifying. Go fishing in this place. She is not afraid either. Si, let me go ahead. Ying Sisi, you come here less often and are not familiar with the terrain, so you should go behind. If I fall into the ground, you can easily pull me out. Qin Yanxi felt warm in his heart. He knew she was considerate, but he never thought she was so caring. What if I can't pull him up? You won't have a wife anymore. Qin Yanxi took the initiative to take her hand and held it in his hand. Then I have to hold on to you. Ying Sisi looked back and smiled, okay. The two came to the stream. Looking at the schools of fish in the water. Qin Yanxi was shocked. He thought she was easy to take the bait because of what she said. It turns out that you can see it everywhere, but you still need to catch it with a stick. Ying Sisi used a small to dig a small hole in the mud on the shore. From the corner of her eye, she saw him walking inside and stopped her. ACI, aren't you fishing? Don't wander around. She came here several times, holding in her hand. Don't dare to take a step without a stick for exploration. He is good. Those who take long strides cannot be rescued if they get stuck in the mud. Shouldn't she be a widow? Qin Yanxi thought she was scared, so he stopped and returned to guard her. What are you digging for? Ying Sisi didn't even raise her head. Eel, this small hole looks like an eel's hole. The fellows in our village said that eating eel can be a great supplement. Dig it out to replenish your body. Qin Yanxi, isn't eel an aphrodisiac? Give him some supplements. Isn't he capable? He doesn't believe it. I will not eat. Ying Sisi continued to work hard to enlarge the hole, and when she noticed the eels shrinking in, she became even more excited. She dug with her bare hands, and finally she caught one, which was as thick as 2 adult fingers and could make a pot of soup. It's quite a catch. Qin Yanxi reiterated, I won't eat it. Ying Sisi thought to herself, I won't stuff it into your mouth. Why do you emphasize that? Aren't you fishing? If not, let's go back. I woke up too early today. I feel sleepy now and want to rest. Qin Yanxi, no more fishing. There are so many fish that it's not a challenge. Ying Sisi, the time when you sold the fish, you were very happy to catch it? You can eat it? I do not want to eat. Ying Sisi, doesn't he love fish the most? He didn't lose his memory, so why did he change his preferences? The two of them returned the same way. Qin Yanxi walked in front with the bucket, but suddenly stopped after a few steps. Ying Sisi walked in a hurry and bumped into his back violently, causing her nose to water in pain. No, it hurts. She didn't leave without saying a word. There is a snake ahead. Qin Yanxi lowered his head to look for a stick. Wait, I have a way. Ying Sisi took out the wind oil essence from her pocket and sprinkled it on the ground. A gust of wind blew by, and the snake immediately turned around and walked away. Qin Yanxi's pupils were shocked. She actually knew how to drive away snakes. How do you know Fen Zhijing can drive away snakes? Ying Sisi proudly said, my grandpa taught me. After encountering the snake that time, she always prepared Fen Zhijing every time she came. Qin Yanxi wanted to hear what she said about her affairs, but was worried that the other person would ask, so he had to endure it. The two of them arrived home in the evening. Ying Sisi made noodles. After eating, she simply cleaned up and went to the bathroom to take a shower and get ready for bed. Qin Yanxi felt hot all over when he heard the sound of water being flushed. It's another rough night. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 144. Ying Sisi waited for him by the bedside after taking a bath. She didn't see anyone for a long time and got up to look for him. Gently opened the door of the guest room and saw that he was still reading. He walked closer and said, "ACI, aren't you going to rest? You take a break first, and I'll watch it for a while." Ying Sisi bent down and closed his book. "Go to bed early and get up early to read." "Can't sleep." Qin Yanxi pushed her hand away gently. Ying Sisi's frown is almost invisible. What's wrong with him? It was fine during the day. At night, if you say you are cold-faced, just be cold-faced. Jerk. She had to deal with his willfulness today. She sat on his lap, wrapped her arms around his neck and winked, tilted her head and said coquettishly, "How about doing something else?" Qin Yanxi's breath was stagnant. How could he resist such a test? His voice darkened. "Sisi, are you serious?" "This is not serious." "What is serious?" "But you can't mess with it too late. I will be guilty of delaying your exam." "You have a nosebleed." Ying Sisi rushed into the bathroom and twisted the towel for him. Qin Yanxi reached out and touched it, and drops of bright red blood touched his hand. Ying Sisi took a cold towel and put it on Qin Yanxi's forehead and the back of his neck. The cold touch made his skin crawl, but fortunately the bleeding stopped immediately. "I'll do it myself." Qin Yanxi took a towel and wiped his nose. Ying Sisi breathed a sigh of relief and said, "You must have gotten angry after staying up late. I told you to go to bed early, but you don't want to listen." "Qin Yanxi, it's not about getting angry, it's about the upwelling of blood. You can be tough." Ying Sisi took out the towel in his hand and went to the bathroom to wash it. After drying it, she went back to the room. He was already lying on the bed, sleeping on his side. Ying Sisi was speechless. "She asked you to go to bed early and didn't let you take my place." She slept in his original position, hugging him from behind and pressing her face against his neck. Qin Yanxi's hair stood on end. He couldn't let anyone live. He tried his best to endure it. "Sisi, everyone sleeps in his own way." Ying Sisi, didn't he ask her to sleep next to him before going to bed? "Are you going to sleep alone again? There are so many problems. I really want to kick him." She let him go and gave him a back. "Almost asleep." He turned around and hugged her again. "Sisi, are you asleep?" Ying Sisi turned around and hugged him back. "Not yet." "ACI, did you leave the exam room early because you failed in the exam?" During the day, she pretended as if nothing had happened, but at night she couldn't control her emotions, deliberately looking for trouble and an outlet to vent. "If you can't pass the exam, you can't pass the exam. At worst, I'll support you." "It's not like I can't support you." Qin Yanxi laughed out loud. "You support me." Ying Sisi said seriously, "Yes, you don't have to worry about spending my money. We are husband and wife, we share blessings and share hardships. I can pass the exam and I don't need you to support me." Ying Sisi thought, "You can pass the exam, why are there so many problems? Is it because you didn't continue that kind of thing?" But he wanted to continue. Why did he sleep first? Should we wait for her to continue taking the initiative? He has always taken the initiative. Is he unbalanced? Thinking of this, she stretched out her hand to touch his face, then moved closer, imitating the way he did to her before. Qin Yanxi was tense all over, torn between responding and not responding. Although they control the same body. But there are two thoughts. Is two people. The other party is hiding the person from him. obviously refused to share with him. He touched her. If that person knew one day, would he dislike her? Yang Cixi didn't get a response, and her heart pounded. "ACI, are you sleeping?" Qin Yanxi couldn't say anything positive. Yang Cixi couldn't figure out his temper, and the lights were off and she couldn't see his expression, so she should just assume he acquiesced. She stretched out her hand to tug at the waist of his trousers, but he held her hand down. "Cixi, you have an exam tomorrow, rest. Let him think about it for 2 more days." Yang Cixi, okay. The woman still couldn't take the initiative and felt like a gangster after being rejected. Please vote. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 145. Morning dawn breaks, and the rising sun rises in the east. Yang Cixi woke up and she was the only one left in the room. Looking at the clock on the wall, it was already 8:30. Looking gently, he caught a glimpse of the note on the bedside table. She picked it up. "Sci, I saw that you were sleeping soundly and I didn't wake you up. You don't need to pick me up today." Yang Cixi put down the note, her mind flashed, and she picked it up again immediately. "I got out of bed and found the notes he had left earlier and compared them together. They were the same but different. The handwriting is the same, but the punctuation marks are used differently. The first 2 notes he left were punctuated sentences. The difference between commas and periods is obvious now." She began to think that they were 2 people again, but her parents-in-law and her relatives and friends never mentioned that Qin Yanxi was a twin. And even if she does have a twin brother or younger brother, it's impossible for them all to come and live with her. What does this look like? It doesn't make sense at all. Thinking of this, she gave up her doubts again, put the note away and got up. At noon, she made lunch in a hurry, waited for no one, and prepared to go out to look for it. As soon as she came downstairs, she saw Qin Yanxi and Qin's father walking together, heading in her direction. She waved, "ACI." Qin Yanxi raised his eyes. The woman was wearing a beige long coat and a white knitted scarf. Her hair was tied loosely, with a few strands of hair floating around her ears. The sun hits her face, lazy and bright. A frown and a smile occupied all his eyes. "Dad, good afternoon," Yang Cixi greeted as she approached. Father Qin smiled. "Hey, have you eaten yet?" "Not yet. Have you eaten? I made braised pork ribs and stewed a pot of eel soup." "Not yet, I'm just waiting to eat what you made." "Let's go." In response to Sic's warm invitation, he walked to Qin Yanxi's side and stood side by side with him. He whispered, "How is the exam?" "Of course I passed it. The last one will be tomorrow. If you do well, I was admitted to Yenching University in advance." Qin Yanxi couldn't help but share with a smile. Yang Cixi said silently, "I don't study well, so I'm not stupid." "Is Yanjing University so easy to get into?" "Hundreds of people competed, but you were the only one with outstanding results. If you fail the exam then, don't get angry and involve me because you're embarrassed by your boastful words." She worded her words carefully, "I have confidence in you. But if you fail the exam, you don't have to worry too much. The important thing is to participate." Qin Yanxi responded, "I listen to you." Yang Cixi felt relieved. The 3 of them returned home. She went into the kitchen to serve food, and Qin Yanxi helped with the dishes. Father Qin saw this and was filled with worry. Both of them care about Sci so much, so why can't they hide things from each other in the future? Why? Leave them alone. If his daughter-in-law questions him in the future, he will say he doesn't know. "Dad, do the ribs taste good?" Father Qin thought she wanted to comment, so he ate 2 pieces and tasted them carefully. "Not bad, the taste is salty, the ribs are crispy, and the cooking skills are improved compared to the original." Yang Cixi smiled broadly and pointed at the eel, "This tastes good too." I caught it by the river yesterday. Try it. My fellow villagers said it can nourish your body. Father Chin almost choked. Let him make up for it. All right. The child didn't understand, but he wasn't surprised. I don't like soup, so let Yan Si drink it. Drink Yan Si, don't let Si down. Why did you fail? You drank. You drink. Yang Sisi didn't understand why they didn't drink it. She tasted it and found it tasted much better than fish soup. I'll drink it myself. She drank soup until she was full. After dinner, Chin's father left. Yang Sisi said, "Aci, why don't you go down and read at home or go out for a walk? You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment." Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 146. Qin Yanxi, go out for a walk. Stay at home and act like a gentleman to her, all you can think about is how to manipulate her. He was going crazy. He even planned to simply go back to the guest house to stay, out of sight and out of mind. Standing at the door of the guest house, he didn't want to stay for a second. Same body. Why is there another beautiful wife like a flower? Are you struggling to be a monk? So, he is back again. Yang Sisi suggested, why don't you visit your friend named Shen Zhengrong? He went to the countryside for less than half a year and then returned to the city after passing the college entrance examination. We are lucky. Qin Yanxi thought to himself, Sisi knew Shen Zhengrong, so the note left by that guy said that he had met Shen Zhengrong, and Sisi was with him at that time. It was for a visit. He smiled and said, is it possible to get lucky? Qin Yanxi agreed, leave now. Let me comb my hair. Yang Sisi went into the bathroom and combed her hair neatly and tied it up in front of the mirror on the wall. Let's go. The two bought gifts and came to the door of Shen's house. Qin Yanxi said to the ant who was cleaning the wall, hello, ant, I am Shen Zhengrong's friend, my surname is Qin. Is he at home? Yes, please wait while I ask him. Qin Yanxi, okay, sorry for the trouble. Yang Sisi looked around, seeing an old-fashioned house with a vermilion door and a stone lion on one side. Compared with the Qin family's courtyard house, it is much more elegant. She whispered, your friend's family seems to be very prestigious. They live in such a big house. Qin Yanxi explained in a low voice, the Shen family is a well-known family in Yanjing City. Shen Zhengrong's grandfather once served as an official, but later retired. His father and his uncle both went to the battlefield. The family has a lot of connections and is indeed quite prestigious. Qin Yanxi almost laughed out loud, you can't describe it casually. Loyalty refers to a heroic sacrifice. He didn't die. Yang Sisi covered her mouth. After a while, Shen Zhengrong came and said somewhat unexpectedly, Qin Yanxi, why are you free today? Specially make time to see you. I'm flattered, please come in. Shen Zhengrong recalled the time on the farm with Qin Yanxi while walking, although I was tired from plowing the fields, I slept well. After returning to Beijing, I haven't slept all night. Qin Yanxi commented, I don't know the blessings when I am in the midst of blessings. Shen Zhengrong sneered. He has such a mouth that he can't pick up any pot. People want to leave every day, which is different from him. Sister-in-law, don't you have to go to work today? Not working. When Yang Sisi spoke, she raised her eyes and found that Shen Zhengrong was staring at her in a daze, at a loss for what to do for a moment. Qin Yanxi cleared his throat, Shen Zhengrong, what are you looking at? This is my wife. Are you polite? Shen Zhengrong got up and went back to the house, took out a photo frame and held it up to Qin Yanxi, this is my sister-in-law, and this is your wife. Do you think they look alike? He thought she looked familiar last time, but he didn't call her. Think about my sister-in-law. Comparing Qin Yancy, the face shape, eyebrows, and eyes are similar. A bit like. It's not a little bit, it's very similar, and your wife's skin is also like that of my family members, who are all white. Qin Yancy, there are so many white skins, and they are all in your family. I have never seen anyone rushing to identify relatives. Shen Zhengrong choked for a moment and then asked Sisi, when I heard you speak earlier, your accent didn't sound like a local one. Where are you from? She spoke in a soft tone and sounded like a coquettish person, which sounded quite fresh at first glance. Yingxi, Nan Province. Where is Nan Province? Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 147. Yingxi looked at Qin Yancy and saw that he didn't stop her, so she said, there is a small county called Yunhe on the edge of Nan Province, under the small county. Even if I tell you, you don't know. Shen Zhengrong's expression changed. What a coincidence, my brother-in-law went to Yunhe 20 years ago. When he came back, he told his family that he saw a girl there and wanted to marry him. The last mission hurt his brain and he couldn't remember her. What is his name and where he lives? I just know that I have to wait for him, and I have to take time to go there every year to look for him. Because I don't have a specific address, and I can't remember his face, I didn't find him in the end. Yingxi, I can't help your uncle find someone. Shen Zhengrong, what I mean is that you may be my aunt's daughter. Yingxi said seriously, don't talk nonsense, I have my own parents. Shen Zhengrong smiled, paused, and said, do you know the name of your father's hall? I can tell my uncle which village I live in. Maybe it can help him remember something. Yingxi was a little angry, but for Qin Yancy's sake, she endured it. Anyway, the question he asked was not a secret. Hiding it made him more curious. She simply said bluntly, Mom Yingxian, Dad, it's called Li Junlu. She said with some embarrassment, it's called Hefeng village. Shen Zhengrong laughed out loud, why is your village called such a name? It looks like a bandit's nest. Yingxi lowered her eyes. I heard from the Warren grandma that it was indeed a bandit's den in the early years. Every household in the village has a shotgun. Later was liberated. The guns were put away, but the names remained. Qin Yancy's face darkened and he said coldly, why are you laughing? Are you laughing at my wife who came out of a bandit's den? I didn't mean it, I just mentioned it like that. You know I've always been respectful. Sister-in-law, don't mind, this name is very domineering. In order to ease the embarrassment, Shen Zhengrong changed the subject, you review to get into college, have you found a teacher? Do you need my recommendation? Qin Yancy's face softened, no need, how is college life? Everywhere is good, the only drawback is that you are not allowed to fall in love while you are studying. Fortunately, you are married, otherwise, you would be 30 by the time you graduate from college and find a wife, right? Qin Yancy was non-committal. The two of them chatted for a long time. As evening approached, Shen Zhengrong invited Qin to a banquet to a restaurant. It happens to be at Sugongfu Hotel. Yingxi was worried that Lao Zhao would suddenly show up throughout the whole process, and she ate the entire meal in trepidation. Qin Yancy has never seen Lao Zhao now, and thought that Sisi had a poor appetite because he was not feeling well. After separation from Shen Zhengrong, he asked with concern, Sisi, why didn't you eat just now? Is the food not to your liking? I was too full at lunch. Qin Yancy smiled and said, who told you to drink so much soup? Yingxi hummed, I don't know if you really don't drink. When the two of them got home, it was completely dark. When Yingxi was washing, she remembered that the water was not boiled. She called out, ACI, there is not much water in the thermos bottle, let's wash together. Qin Yan resigned and sat in the living room. He heard her talking from a distance, and there was a buzzing in his ears. Wash together? No, no, no. He couldn't resist. Yang Sisi shouted again, "ACI, come quickly, why have you been so tired these past 2 days?" She couldn't help but express her feelings. The sound fell soon. Qin Yanxi's appearance at the door was not what he expected. She changed into a light green nightgown, and the lining was as delicate as the green buds on the branches in spring. She was sitting on a low stool soaking her feet. Her skin was really white and her toes were so pink and fleshy that it made people want to pinch them. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 148. Yang Sisi pointed to the stool opposite her and motioned for him to sit down. Qin Yanxi stepped forward and took a seat, hesitatingly taking off his socks. Yang Sisi raised her feet, waited for him to reach into the basin, and stepped on it. As their skin touched each other, he suddenly felt numb all over his body, and his voice became hoarse. "Si, have you ever heard of the story of roommates fighting each other?" "I've heard of it, it's just a fight in the nest." Qin Yanxi covered his eyelashes to hide the surging possessiveness in his eyes. "This is just the apparent meaning. There is another meaning. It refers to two brothers competing for a woman. Although his situation is a bit special, the essence is the same." "Aji, who is talking about me behind my back?" Yang Sisi covered her mouth and sneezed. Qin Yanxi's thoughts changed. "That sister of yours. Probably her mother too. The Shen family on the other side." Shen Zhengrong mentioned Yang Sisi in front of the whole family. "Yang Sisi and my aunt are really similar, and who can testify? And her hometown is in Hefeng village, Yunhe County, and her mother's name is Yang Xian, her father's name is Li Junlu," he said, looking at the fair and handsome man beside him. "Uncle, can you remember something?" "I can't remember, but when you mentioned Yingxi and Hefeng village, my heart agitated and I had a headache. I have never looked for this place before." Mr. Shen glanced at her and asked, "How old is that girl? Why did she take her mother's surname?" "I don't know. He looks only 19 or 20. I forgot to ask, do you know Qin Yanjun? My friend's father." "How can I not know Qin Yanjun? His family is in good condition and he can definitely marry a well-matched girl. Why are you looking for a girl from the countryside? How come you are so far away?" "How would I know?" Mr. Shen said, "I don't know what to ask. What do you want your uncle to think?" "Bring the girl home tomorrow and let me take a look." "Yushin, do you want to take a look? How presumptuous is it for a grown man to find someone else's daughter-in-law? Just call Qin Yanjun to the door. As a relative, he must know his daughter-in-law's family background well." "That's okay, you can arrange it." Early the next morning, Qin Yanjun was called into Shen's house. He sat in the living room of the Shen family, his heart pounding. He recalled what he had done in the past few days and determined that it had nothing to do with the Shen family. He smiled reassuringly and said, "Mr. Shen, why are you looking for me? You take a look at the photo first." Shen Zhengrong submitted the photo. Qin Yanjun was shocked. "This? Does the girl in the photo look like your daughter-in-law?" "Qin Yanjun, at first glance, they look similar, but upon closer inspection, they don't look alike. Obviously his son's wife is more handsome. Do you want to recognize your relatives? I have never heard that the Shen family has lost a child. Besides, Sisi has parents." Mr. Shen then added, "Our Yushin lost his memory in the early years. He only remembers that he had a date in the countryside, which was the county where your daughter-in-law lived. When I heard your mother-in-law's name, I seemed to be able to remember it. I want to ask specifically what she looks like, how old she is, and how old is your daughter-in-law." Qin Yanjun understood. It means recognizing relatives, but not sure. He explained one by one, I really don't know how old my mother-in-law is. I haven't seen anything, so I can't describe it to you. She died in childbirth when she was giving birth to my daughter-in-law. My daughter-in-law was only 20 years old. Shen Yuxian was shocked, he died in childbirth. Yes, my father-in-law went to the countryside to find a partner locally. When he returned to the city, he found another one, and abandoned the one in the country. As a result, my daughter-in-law was left without a mother or a father. Last year, just after I got him back, I happened to want to find a hard-working and down-to-earth partner for my youngest son. After a while, the matter was settled. Qin Yanjun summed it up simply. He doesn't want to mention other people's privacy. But if he doesn't tell, the Shen family will investigate. It's better to sell them a favor. Please vote. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 149. Mr. Shen pondered for a long time, is that girl very strong? Is her hearing good? Our Shen family is born with brute force and excellent hearing. Our physical fitness is far beyond that of ordinary people. Even if she is injured, she heals faster than others. Her daily performance, is that so? Qin Yanjun sighed helplessly. He had already exposed his in-laws, but the old man still didn't believe it. He still broke the casserole and asked the question. Do you want to know the characteristics of the child? Don't you feel offended? But, he cannot be offended. She worded her words cautiously, that child was born in the countryside and is used to farm work. She must be more energetic than ordinary girls in the city. What do you mean by excellent hearing? As for recuperation, I have never seen her injured. It's hard to judge. When you marry a daughter-in-law in your family, why are you so unclear about the characteristics of your daughter-in-law? You know very clearly the romantic past of your in-laws. You, the father-in-law, are so old and dishonest. Bring the child here first for me to see. Let's see, Mr. Shen informed. Qin Yanjun. Shen Yuxian stopped him, this girl's parents have their own names. If we call someone here like this, why can't she blame Comrade Qin for not knowing the right rules when she goes back? I think this should be settled in advance. He narrowed his eyes and turned to Qin Yanjun. I'm sorry to bother you. I called you to ask about this matter because I didn't consider it thoroughly. I've offended you so much. I hope you won't be blamed. Qin Yanjun finally felt better. You're welcome. He said goodbye and left. Shen Yuxian sent him off. When returning to the living room, Mr. Shen said, I asked the girl to come at first, but you insisted on asking her father-in-law, but this guy didn't know anything. I asked the girl to come again, but you stopped me. I don't think you have anyone. Just an excuse for not wanting to get married. Having a partner means they are a de facto couple. Then you should welcome this person back. You don't even know how old you are. People who are as old as you are already in high school and college. Mr. Shen became more and more anxious as he spoke. Daughter-in-law is chosen from a scholarly family to a small family. As long as it's a woman in the end. How can he give in? I told you earlier that you don't have to worry about my affairs. Shen Yuxian planned to go to Ying Cici's hometown in person. Just now Qin Yanjun said that her mother died in childbirth, which made his heart ache. A vague picture vaguely emerged in my mind. Stone house among clear and green water, farmhouse courtyard. A girl dressed in plain clothes was sewing clothes with her head down. An old aunt with a charming posture was leaning on the doorframe next to her. There is also a man in the picture, shirtless, and chopping firewood. The old aunt stared straight at the other party. He felt that he was the man in the picture. The girl is his object, and he takes off the clothes he sews. After Qin Yanjun came out of Shen's house, he went straight to the family courtyard. Raise your hand and knock on the door. Is Sisi there? Here Ying Sisi was squatting next to the radiator to observe the hatching of the pearl birds. When she heard Qin's father's voice, she immediately opened the door. Dad, you are here, please come in. If you don't want to go in, I'll just stand here and ask, is your hearing good? Qin Yanjun thought about this matter seriously on his way back. Sisi and Li Junlu are not similar at all. On the contrary, he and Shen Yuxian have a father-daughter relationship. The Shen family took photos of the girls from the Shen family and asked him to find the same ones. Comparing his eyes, Sisi's brows and eyes were exactly the same as Shen Yuxian's. It turned out that a woman in their work unit got pregnant with a married man Luan Lai, and later she found an honest man to marry in order for the child to settle down smoothly. If Sisi's mother really had a relationship with Shen Yuxian, Li Junlu's pregnancy plan can also be explained. After all, Shen Yuxian and his in-laws are both from Yanjing. Sisi's mother found Shen Yuxian through Li Junlu, which is very reasonable. Don't you like watching the scene where the heroine's father is looking for her? There are less orders, woo woo hoo. I was so scared that I quickly cut out this part of the plot. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 150. Why do you ask this suddenly? Qin Yanjun said with a smile, I have become a little deaf as I get older. Every time I pass by the office hall before entering the office, I am always greeted by the people below. I suspect they will wait for the office door to close and say bad things about me. You young man has good hearing. Help me, I listen. Ying Sisi held back her smile, thinking that people with higher status would be less likely to care. It turns out that I also mind being discussed. She responded readily, okay. My hearing is pretty good. I can hear the children downstairs. There are no children downstairs. It's downstairs at our house. Qin Yanjun's brows moved, could she hear it even when the door was closed? This must be considered a case of excellent hearing. He led Ying Sisi into the unit in a grand manner. Others thought that Sisi was a newcomer and looked at her one after another. When she entered the office, she whispered. A new colleague, he's so beautiful. Before he even joined the job, he was so obsessed with Lao Qin that he even forgot to introduce him to us. Be careful that the leader hears you. It's so far away, and he's not attuned to the wind. He heard a ghost. In the office, Qin Yanjun said, Sisi, is there anyone talking outside? Can you hear what they say? Ying Sisi naturally heard it, but she couldn't recite it. I heard it, but I didn't say anything about you. That's good. Qin Yanjun glanced at the big potted plant in the office. Sisi, help me move the potted plant in the big vase here. The sun is good here, so let's shine it. Ying Sisi glanced at him. It is a vase-shaped flower pot half as tall as a person, and the tree inside is as thick as an arm. The leaves are lush and green. You should take care of it regularly. Rich people's potted plants are more moist than ordinary people's lives. What kind of worldly behavior is this? She was complaining in her heart, but her hands were not idle. Move to the side with force. Qin Yanjun couldn't believe it. When the potted plant was put in, two grown men moved it together. She is a little girl who can actually move it. If this is a fight with his son, one punch must not make his son's eyes black. He said, Sisi, Yancy has a bad temper. If I ever feel sorry for you in the future, you can tell me, but you can't do anything. Ying Sisi didn't know why Hao Duan was talking about taking action. Since he took the initiative, she had to make her position clear. Dad, I won't offend anyone unless they offend me. A CI is my husband, but I am also his wife. We have equal status. If he doesn't do it, I will definitely not move. But if he hits me first, I will definitely hit him back. But you can rest assured that I won the fight and he was injured. I will take good care of him. If I can't win, I will pester him to death. After all, if there is one thing, there are two. If you give in this time, he will make more progress next time, which is not conducive to family harmony. You are a reasonable person, you don't think what I said is wrong, do you? How could Qin Yanjun not understand what Yang Sisi meant and deliberately put a high hat on him to prevent him from refuting? He was indeed choked and could only say, "You have to be merciful." Yang Sisi laughed out loud, "Dad, why can't you think of us better?" Qin Yanjun looked embarrassed and coughed twice, "Hey." Yang Sisi sat for a while and noticed that Father Qin was peeking at her, and she suddenly felt embarrassed. Is it normal for a father-in-law to look after his daughter-in-law? Maybe it was because her children were like that. She didn't want to think of her elders as filthy men, so she convinced herself like this. "Dad, no one is talking about you outside. I'm leaving first." "Okay, do you have enough money?" "I think you need several yuan just to eat a day. The money saved for the banquet is almost at the bottom."